I think this is the BBC, especially BBC Sport. The new head of BBC Sport is, I think, kind of getting his feet under the table a little bit. Alex Kajelski. He's very keen, the BBC are very keen to emphasise that he's very much involved in the process and that there are no skeletons in the closet at BBC Sport. So this is very much a corporation under fire with several scandals going on. And I think they're very keen to take a hard line with this.
Now, the big news this evening, BBC News, the BBC has sacked their presenter, Jermaine Jenas. The shocking news follows allegations of inappropriate behaviour and he's since been dropped from presenting The One Show and Match of the Day. Deputy News Editor Alex Dibble and Head of News at News UK Broadcasting, Toby Seeley, spoke with Jermaine Jenas after the news broke.
Look, I can't really talk about it. As you can probably see, I am not happy about it. But currently, as it stands, I'm going to have to let the lawyers deal with it. You know, there's two sides to every story, as we know. So that's all I can say right now.
It's being reported that you sent unsolicited texts to a female member of staff at The One Show. Is that true?
There's, like I said, I'm not happy about this situation. You know, I'm going to be speaking to my lawyers about it, is all I can say right now.
Are you able to elaborate at all about the complaints that were made? What exactly did they relate to?
No.
Was it something concerning one colleague or more than one?
I'm going to have to, like I said, speak to my lawyers about this situation. I'll definitely, as you can see by probably, like I said, my reaction, I'm not happy at all about the outcome of this, but I've got to leave it in the hands of the lawyers right now.
That was Jermaine Jenas speaking to the Deputy Head of News, Alex Dibble, here for Times Radio and for TalkSport. Jermaine Jenas on air on TalkSport this afternoon as the news of his sacking by the BBC broke. Let's speak to the entertainment reporter for The Sun, Josh Rom, now. Josh, good evening.
Good evening, Kate.
Let's talk about what we know of the allegations so far. It's been called inappropriate behaviour. Can we say any more?
Not at this moment. The BBC are calling it inappropriate behaviour. They say that they received a complaint a few weeks ago. They've launched an internal probe as such. He's been sacked off The One Show and also his position on Match of the Day. But as Jermaine said himself, he will be speaking to his own lawyers about it. All we know is that it was one female colleague at The One Show. She reportedly received unsolicited text messages. However, it's very much early on. These are just allegations at this time.
OK. Why no investigation by the BBC first? Why have they just promptly dispensed of his services?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and especially because this is a massive blow for the BBC. He was paid a lot of money. He was in the presenter band of 190,000 to 194,999 pounds. So he's a very much in the kind of the top bracket, so to speak, one of their highest paid presenters. I think the BBC is very keen to say we are going to be dealing with this in an efficient way. You know, we're in the context of things, we are kind of fresh off the Huw Edwards scandal. There is, of course, the Strictly probe that is taking place. The results are due imminently. They are reportedly 2 weeks late. So I think this is the BBC, especially BBC Sport. The new head of BBC Sport is, I think, kind of getting his feet under the table a little bit. Alex Kajelski. He's very keen. The BBC are very keen to emphasise that he's very much involved in the process and that there are no skeletons in the closet at BBC Sport. So this is very much a corporation under fire with several scandals going on, and I think they're very keen to take a hard line with this.
Kajelski is the BBC's new director of sport. He was on air on TalkSport this afternoon, Josh, as the news broke. So there was the situation where he was sat in the studio live on air, as we are now, probably looking at TV screens with his image on them and the big banner across them, Jermaine Jenas sacked by the BBC. What do we know about his relationship with TalkSport? Was that intentional? Was that a horrible coincidence?
Well, I think it was a horrible coincidence. He was sitting in on the drive show. He, of course, doesn't have a regular slot. However, of course, before his television career, before presenting on the One Show, he, of course, was an England footballer as well. So he's very much qualified to go on air at TalkSport. Very much a horrible coincidence. And especially he's the sort of presenter at the BBC who I guess is freelance. You know, his last television appearance was on TNT Sports, I believe. So he is free to, you know, appear on other broadcasters, not just the BBC. So I do think it was a horrible coincidence.